everybody. We have a challenge this afternoon. I don't speak very good English. I speak Australian, not English. So our translators have to translate from Australian to English to Spanish. So we have to be nice to them. I always worry when we have translators because I don't know what they're telling you. And I was presenting in Indonesia and I told a joke to the crowd, to the group, and everybody laughed. But their laughing didn't seem real. And so I asked the translators what they actually said. And they said to the group, Mr. Tamsett told a joke, so please laugh. So I'm hoping that the translators actually translate what I'm saying this afternoon. I'd like to thank Guillermo and everybody from Mikado Fitness for their hospitality and bringing me across. It's a wonderful experience. I've never been to Buenos Aires. I've learnt very quickly in this country it's okay for men to kiss men. In my country, not so good. It would be exceeding customer service if a man kissed another man. However, I also like in your country that even though I don't know all your pretty women, they still kiss me, which is very unusual in Australia. So I very much like some of your culture and your traditions. The other thing that I really like about Argentina is your steak. Beautiful meat. It's your restaurants make beef de lomo, beef de lomo. Beautiful, very good. So I'm having a great time, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today to share with you some secrets about becoming a leader. How many people in the room are club owners? Pop up your hands. Club owners? Okay. Club managers? Okay. Both? Okay. Did I miss anyone? Have we got any cleaners here? Couple of cleaners. They're also the owners, yes. Same in Australia. So, the very first sort of message I'd like everybody to take away today is, as an owner or a manager, we're actually the leaders of our organisation. And if we think back to a fantastic movie, Gladiator, starring a very famous Australian, Russell Crowe. Do you remember the movie? And remember the very first scene in the movie, and they're going off to fight, off to war. And Russell Crowe says a very famous line, "On my signal, unleash hell." Now, he says it with a much better Italian accent, as a Roman. And with that, the Roman soldiers take on the horde. And who is the person at the front leading the charge? Maximus. And to me, that's what leadership is all about. It's about leading from the front. And as owners and managers, I think that is our responsibility. That is our core responsibility, is to lead from the front, as Maximus did leading into war. From a leadership perspective, Gladiator is a fantastic movie because Maximus was a true leader who was respected by his troops, the people of Rome, and even to a degree his foe, the person that was against him, truly respected him for what he could do. Now I know the movie's fictitious, but still it's a great example of leadership. So today we're going to cover some leadership things. Now, this one is for English on my computer. This one is for Spanish, which is up there. If I get confused and I move this one and don't move yours, please tell me. Okay, I don't want to be silly. So today I'm going to present to you some facts about leadership, and for you, I want you to sit there and do a self-evaluation. I want you to do, this is like a checklist to see where you're at in regard to leadership. Now, I'm happy, Guillermo, if anybody wants copies of my notes, please see Guillermo and he can send you the Spanish version. If you want the Australian version or the English version, leave me your business card and I will email it to you. Okay? So, these are some of the things that we're going to cover today. We do that one and we do that one. Okay. Something about a leader. A leader challenges the process. Did I do that right? Is that right? Does that say a leader challenges the process? Okay. Phew. Okay. What a leader does is they set out to find the opportunities in business, in life, and they question them. And they challenge if what they actually say is true. If not, they try a new approach. They try a new way of doing things. A leader is not afraid of making mistakes. In fact, when they make a mistake, they learn from that. So one of the first traits is to be comfortable with making mistakes, being very happy to make mistakes. A leader will search outside the standards, outside the boundaries, to find solutions. And I think one of the interesting things... I think one of the interesting things about that is that within the fitness industry, we often compare a gymnasium to a gymnasium. And if we're going to take our business from here up to here, we need to look outside the industry. And some of the examples that Stephen gave this afternoon in regard to customer service, he talked about Nordstrom's, a department store. And if we're going to be true leaders of our organisation, we have to look outside the fitness industry and find what other industries have got leaders. How can we replicate or learn from these people and take that learning and put it into our businesses? And if we don't, well, we're only ever as good as another gymnasium or another fitness centre. British Airways. Most of you would know British Airways, the aeroplane people. Okay? When they were looking for a mission statement for their business, they decided to look outside the industry. And they were trying to work out what they could do with their maintenance department, how to drive their maintenance department to be efficient and effective. So they looked at all the other airlines in the world, and they didn't really find one that they could benchmark against. So they looked outside the industry. And the maintenance department of British Airways had a mission statement to be as efficient as a Formula One pit crew. Now, that is an extreme, efficient team, a Formula One pit crew. So what did the leaders do? They looked outside the industry. They challenged the boundaries within the industry and have taken their business from here to here. Okay, let's see if we can get this right. When you do that, of course, it's okay to fail, like I said, because there is an expectation that you may fail or you may make mistakes. That's okay. Leaders are comfortable with making mistakes. So our second thing is that a leader inspires people with a vision. And a vision that they share amongst all. Next one. Ah. Vision. So they share their vision with their staff, with their team. In fact, they tell anybody and everybody about their vision. Whoever will listen to them, they tell. Because they're passionate about what they're trying to achieve. Stephen mentioned a fantastic book in his presentation this morning called Good to Great by Jim Collins. Has anyone read that book? One. Uno, duo. Okay. Stay there. Okay, who's read it? Oh, sorry. And down the back. Okay. So if you answer the question right, you get either a koala or a kangaroo. Okay? Anyone else read the book? Yeah, I thought there'd be a few. You're going to? Oh, you can have one there. Now, I'm assuming in Argentina you can get Amazon.com. So go on Amazon and you need to buy this book, Good to Great by Jim Collins. And in the book, Jim Collins talks about the vision, and he calls the vision for the organisations a BHAG. Now, this will test you. A BHAG. So that's B-H-A-G. Now, in English, BHAG translates to big, hairy, audacious goal. A big, hairy, audacious goal. A BHAG. What is a BHAG? Well, let me give you an example of one. Starbucks, the coffee company, huge in everywhere around the world except Argentina. Okay? And probably Colombia, because you have good coffee, you don't need Starbucks. So, the people, the leaders of Starbucks went to Jim Collins and said, we have a BHAG. We're going to have 2,000 Starbucks in the world by the year 2000. And Jim Collins said, wow, do you think you'll get there? And they said, yes, we will get there. In fact, we should get there by the first quarter of the year 2000. And Jim Collins said to them, you don't have a BHAG, you have an S-bug. And they said, S-bug. And they said, what's an S-bug? He said, a small, bald, unaudacious goal. the opposite to a BHAG. So he sent them away back to Seattle, and he said, come back to me with a BHAG. And they came back about 3 weeks later and said, we have a BHAG. We want to have the most recognised brand in the world, a position currently held by Coca-Cola. Jim Collins said, that is a BHAG. Leaders set BHAGs for their companies. How does that relate to a health club? I'm very good friends with Joe Sorelli. Joe owns a club in the United States called Gainesville Health and Fitness. Their website is ghfc.com. ghfc.com. Probably one of the best health clubs in the world. And Joe had a BHAG. And his BHAG was to make Gainesville the healthiest community in the United States of America. Now, how were they going to judge that? They didn't know. They didn't care. That was their BHAG. That was their big, hairy, audacious goal. About 2 years after they set this goal, President Bush stood on the grass of the White House and said, I'm announcing today a brand new presidential award. From this day forward, we will have an annual prize, an annual award that will go to the healthiest community in the country. And the inaugural winner is Gainesville Health and Fitness Centre. That is leadership. Joe shared that vision with everybody around the world that that's what he was trying to achieve. He shared it with his staff. So everybody that worked for him understood and had a passion for what he was trying to achieve. His new BHAG is to be known in the world as one of the best employers. Now that is a BHAG in itself. And now he's sharing that with everybody. He's got one step closer to achieving that BHAG by being written about in the New York Times. But that is what a true leader does. They have a vision and they share that vision. Okay. Stephen talked a lot about, in his customer service, empowering staff to make decisions. Remember, he said his staff can spend money in order to keep members. Remember he said that? What a leader does is they're not protective of their organisation. They enable others to act by empowering them. They develop relationships with the people that they work with their suppliers, with the community. So it's important that we empower our staff to be able to run our business for us when we're not there. And leaders feel very comfortable about doing that. Leaders don't question that. They're comfortable about sharing that. In fact, it ensures that people grow with that responsibility, that they grow with that ability. To me, this is perhaps the most important trait of a leader. As Maximus did, we lead from the front. We show people what we want to do by our performance. And as an owner and a manager, we should lead from the front and we should have the best one. We should lead from the front with our learning by coming to conferences like this one. We should lead from the front with our customer service. So we can show the people that work for us how we want them to act when they're talking to members. So as owners and managers, while it's important that we're tapping on our computer, studying the numbers that Stephen will talk about tomorrow, it's really important that we also are out talking to our members and making them feel welcome. And a couple of the clubs that we went to yesterday, the club managers were really doing that. I was really impressed. So with some of these attributes that we're discussing this afternoon, some of you might already be a 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Some may only be 3, and we need to work on those aspects. Okay. Leaders are passionate about their vision. They're passionate about their business. And so this comes from the heart. And they truly encourage people from the heart, with sincerity, with empathy. Did you get it? With sincerity, with empathy. And in Jim Collins' book, he explains about different hierarchy of leadership. Level 1 through to level 5. Let me tell you about these different levels. The two that we'll talk about are level 4 and level 5. A level 4 leader, when things are going well, when we're making sales, when members are staying members, our staff are happy, when things are going well in our club, a level 4 leader, when he's looking out the window at his club, he sees a mirror. And he goes, things are going well. Things are going great, and it's all because of me. Now we know in our clubs, things don't always go great. We don't always make sales. We don't always have good retention. So a level 4 leader, when things are going poorly, that is no longer a mirror, that is a window that they slide back and they go, you're not doing a good job, 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 you're not doing a good job. They blame others. That's what a level 4 leader does. And when we're leading from the heart, a level 5 leader has the opposite. So when things are going well, a level 5 leader pulls back the window and says, hey, great job, team. You're doing an awesome job. I'm really proud of you. Keep it up. Keep motivated. Keep up the sales. It's you guys that are doing a fantastic job. And when things are going poorly, the level 5 leader doesn't see a mirror, doesn't see a window, they see a mirror. And they realise that the person that's causing things to go poorly in their organisation is themselves. Which can be a humbling experience. It can take a lot of discipline for us to stand up and accept that responsibility. But that's the difference between a level 4 and a level 5 leader. If you want to take your business from where it is here, up to here, take it from a good business to a great business, I highly encourage you to buy the book, Good to Great. There are some very powerful philosophies in that book that relate specifically to leadership. And we can learn so much from that book. Good to Great by Jim Collins. It's my personal Bible. I normally take it everywhere with me. Okay, so to help you guys become better leaders, you don't have the notes, do you? No, okay. To help you become better leaders, we've got some questions for you. This is where we want you to rank, where 1 is a bit ordinary, bad, and 10 is casi siempre. Yeah? See? Okay. So with these questions, I want you right now to rank yourself. Whether you think you're a 1, casi nunca, or casi siempre, for each one of these questions. No, seriously, you could do it if you wanted. Okay? Too hard? This is to make you think, ladies and gentlemen. When you become a leader, you have to think. You have to self-evaluate. You have to be honest. And this is a self-evaluation. There are more questions. It's okay. We won't really do it. Just relax. This is why you need to see Guillermo so you can get a copy of this. Okay? Oh, yep. We'll give that. Excellent. Because there are 30 questions.
Oh.
Oh. And that will take too long to do. So, then we just have a simple marking sheet. And how did you go? Oh, hang on. So, how to become a better leader is with those questions, you could give those questions to the people that work for you and have them rank you. Who would be game enough to do that? Who would have enough courage to have their staff rank them in those areas? Anyone? Or few? Too many, not enough. I don't have enough kangaroos and koalas to give you all one. Okay, so how do we become a better leader? Just get 5 or 6 people to do it for you. Just have 5 or 6 people do the questionnaire. Don't put their names on it so it stays anonymous. That might help you get more honesty from your team. Have them hand that in to somebody other than you. Okay, so have someone collect it. Total all the scores for each of the answers. So if you've got 5 or 6 people, they've ranked you at different numbers, total the score, and just work out the average by dividing the number of people that ranked you. Simple mathematics, like 12-year-old mathematics here. Total the columns and look at your 2 lowest columns. Your 2 lowest columns are the areas that you need to work on as a leader. Oops. Oh yeah. See? Observe les 2 columnas inferiores. Good Spanish?
Okay.
Okay? What's good? Bon? Bien. Bien? Bien. Okay. What do we then do? Well, we review the questions. We study where we can improve. We study what aspects do our team think I need to work on as a leader. Again, back to my book, Good to Great. Jim Collins talks about if you're going to be a great leader, you have to face the brutal facts. Not just the facts, but the brutal facts, the ones that hurt us the most. And more often than not, when we're doing an evaluation like this and having people tell us what they think of us, it can be hurtful. But they're telling us so that we can make our business better because we'll become a better leader. They're not telling us this bad information to hurt us. And we'll talk about in a minute or two how we can make sure that we have that trust with our team. It's really important that when your staff are filling this evaluation out for you, that people are very honest. Because you can't improve as a leader if they're telling fibs, little white lies, little untruths. It's really important we get the truth from them. And how do we do that? So here's the second book I'm going to recommend that you read. It's called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by an author called Patrick Lencioni. Leconni. Patrick Lencioni. Who's read that book? 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. Anyone? No one? Okay. Another one to go to Amazon.com tonight. 2 books to order. Now, what does Patrick Lencioni talk about? Patrick Lencioni talks about the 5 dysfunctions, which is trust, confianza, trust, conflict, conflicto, commitment, compromiso,
Compromiso.
say again?
Compromiso.
Compromiso, accountability, yeah, that one, and results. Resultados. Now, how do we get that? What do these all mean? Well, let me explain them. Imagine you have a pyramid. Okay? I know you're Argentinian, not Egyptian. But imagine you have a pyramid. The base of the pyramid is trust. The base of the pyramid, the foundation of your organization is trust. When we have trust, we can have heated dialogue or conversations with our staff, with our management team. How many people here are married? Wow. Who isn't married then? One? Oh, come up here. Oh, who isn't married? Come up here. Come on. Do you have a boyfriend? No, so you're single? Okay, come up here. Boys, she's single. Thank you. I don't even know why I brought her up here. I don't even know what I was talking about. Okay, no. Seriously. So those that are married, you can understand this. Those that are single, you'll get to eventually understand this. How many people have been married twice? Wow. One. Couple. 3 times? Only twice. Okay. So, one of the really important things about marriage is trust. And when a husband and wife have an argument, which is kind of regular in Australia, we are always fighting with our husband and wife, but it's not hurtful arguments because we trust them. And we know that that disagreement is actually about making the family better. Speaking of families, on cue, a baby cries. It's about making the family better. Within our organisation, within our company, we want to have that same relationship with our people so that they can have a heated discussion that's about making our organisation stronger. And it's okay to argue because your front desk manager or your sales manager or your personal training manager or one of your gym floor instructors is giving you that feedback to make the business better. So our job as leaders of the organisation is to develop trust within the organisation. That is another seminar altogether. But when you read the book, Laconi does give some examples on how to build trust. Once we've got trust, it means that people don't hesitate to challenge one another. It means they don't fear that they're going to lose their job by questioning why you're making these decisions. It means that we have total buy-in. Once we have trust, we can have this conflict. The conflict enables us to have this discussion. So when we're all in a room trying to come to a decision, because we have that trust, the disagreement is okay. The disagreement helps bond the final thinking. We see from different perspectives to come to the final answer. If we don't have trust, you can't have conflict. The conflict without trust means that we don't know what's going on. What is the person's agenda behind arguing with us? But when we've got trust, we can have conflict. Once we've got conflict, we can have compromisio. Is that right? Did I say that right? Compromisio. Compromiso. Okay, we can have commitment. Much easier in English. We can have commitment. And why do we get commitment? Because everybody has had their say. And our job as a leader is to make sure everybody has their say. To make sure everybody has input. Then they have that full commitment to what comes next. So we're building up our pyramid. Trust allows us to have conflict. With conflict, we then have commitment. From commitment, we then have accountability. Accountability is very important. And it's important that everybody that works for our organisation has that accountability. Accountability is the mechanism for us to deliver what we promised. Stephen tomorrow will be talking about numbers in the business. That's accountability. This morning he spoke about sales. Hello? No? This morning he talked about sales and some of the numbers there. That is accountability. Within a fitness centre, within a health club, a gymnasium, we have what we call key performance indicators, or KPIs. KPIs give us that accountability. Now, when we've got trust, we can then discuss what those KPIs should be so we can have conflict. Then we get that commitment in regard to those key performance indicators. Then we're held accountable. And when we're held accountable, that means we either get it or we don't. We either achieve the goal or we don't achieve the goal. But we have that commitment. We have that accountability. What do you think is at the very top of the pyramid? Results. Our results have been achieved. And as a leader, we need to work through this within our organisation. It's not easy, ladies and gentlemen. But being a leader was never meant to be easy. It is challenging work. So for you, when I present, I always like to give homework. Like you're at school. Old school teacher. Old school teacher. We like to give homework. So your homework is this. How are you going to develop trust within your organisation? And we need to develop that trust so that we can then do that evaluation of us as leaders. One of the ways to develop trust is to have the people that work for us open up, to be honest in their feelings, honest in their emotions. Now, from what I've seen, Argentinians are very emotional people. I watched the soccer game the other night and Maradona took his shirt off. And that was just scoring a goal. So you're very emotional people, but maybe very private as well. Would that be right? You keep your emotions close, especially at work? Most people do. That's okay. So we need to build that trust. We need to get our team to talk and feel comfortable talking. We get them to ask some questions. Some questions like, who is the most influential person in your life? And why? And when somebody expresses and goes through those words, emotions and feelings, they're starting to open up about themselves. You might ask them, tell me about what life was like at school. Tell me about your brothers and sisters and your relationship with them. Tell me about what you're trying to achieve, working in the fitness industry or working with us. What are your goals? They're pretty serious questions, but that helps people open up. If you want to make it fun, ask them about their favourite sporting achievement. What was the thing that they achieved greatest when they did in sport? What is their ultimate? You might ask them, how old were they when they had their first kiss? Where were they when they had their first kiss? What was the boy or girl's name who was their first person they kissed? Any information that is personal that they share with other people helps develop that trust. And our role as a leader is to help foster that and help grow that aspect of the business. Does that make sense? Is that okay? Thumbs up? See? Last year I was lucky enough to go to Brazil to do a presentation, and I was reading Lonely Planet. Does everybody know Lonely Planet? Yeah? And in Lonely Planet, when we're flying there, it said, Brazilians tap their nose and point at you if they understand. Tap their nose and point at you. And I'm like, okay. So when I was presenting, I said to the Brazilians, now, if you understand what I'm saying, do what you're supposed to do. And they all sort of looked at me. And I said, I read this in Lonely Planet. You tap your nose and you point, if you understand what I mean. And they're like, we don't know what you mean. Now, about a month ago, it came out that lots of stuff in the Lonely Planet has been made up. One author, in fact, never went to one of the countries that he wrote about, and he just sat at home in his office and wrote Lonely Planet about, I think it was Iceland. Was it Iceland? Was it Colombia? He'd never been to Colombia, and he wrote about Colombia. Well, he obviously never went to Brazil either, because the Brazilians had no idea what I meant when I'm going like this. So, if you understand what I'm saying, we can now make this an Argentinian thing as well. You can tap your nose and, yeah, I'm with you, I understand. Okay. So here's the important thing. As a leader, we must understand where we're going. What are we doing? In Australia, we have a fairy tale called Alice in Wonderland. Do you have that here in Argentina? See? Okay. Some of you might have kids and have been reading Alice in Wonderland recently. For those that haven't, I want to remind you of a scene from Alice in Wonderland. And Alice is wandering through and she gets to crossroads, two roads, and they cross. And the Cheshire Cat is sitting there smiling. And Alice says to the cat, which way do I go? And the cat says, oh, that's really simple, Alice. Where are you trying to get to? And Alice says, I don't know. I'm not sure where I'm trying to get to. And the Cheshire Cat says, smiling back to her, well, any road will get you there then. Now, as a leader, it's important we know which direction we want to go. Because behind us, we've got all our staff. We have all our members. We have the community. We have the suppliers, the sponsors downstairs. They're all behind us. And if we're not sure where to go, we'll lead them astray. So our role as a leader is to have very clear idea where we have been, where we are, and where we're going. Oops, before we get to that. So, well, what does that mean? Well, we've already talked about it. You've got to have a very clear vision. A very clear vision of what you want in your organisation, where you want to head. You've also got to have a very clear mission. What are you trying to achieve with your members? So the vision is where we're taking the business. The mission is, what are we trying to do? I think this is one of the challenges that the fitness industry has. Is we're not quite sure sometimes what we're trying to do with our members. Are we trying to get them fit? Or are we trying to help them lose weight? Are we trying to make them healthy? Or are we trying to help them meet other people. What we're trying to work, what we have to ascertain in our business is what are we trying to do? And as competition rises, as a leader, our responsibility is to work out how do we differentiate ourselves, how are we different to our competitors. And our job as a leader is to gather as much information as possible about the industry, about the future of the industry, to determine what we are going to deliver as a product within our club. So as leaders, you need to attend conferences like this. Come up to Esta in March. To get on the World Wide Web and surf the web and look at the trends. To really be very clear in your mind on the product that you wish to deliver to the consumer. Weight loss, fitness, health, socialization, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, but it's important that you're clear. And then every single decision that you make in your business relates back to that focus. Every decision you make relates back to that focus. A very famous American, Rockefeller, John D. Rockefeller, perhaps regarded as the wealthiest man in the history of the earth, more wealthier than Bill Gates. John D. Rockefeller set up the Standard Oil Company in the United States around about the turn of the 20th century, early 1900s. And while he was setting up this organisation, he determined that in order to get their maximum return on value, the maximum profit from their product of oil, what they had to do is work out how to reduce the transportation costs. How to get oil from point A to point B as cheaply as possible. His sole focus, his sole mission was to reduce that cost. So every day, every decision that he made in that organisation, as the leader of that organisation, related back to how do we reduce transportation costs. And I think that's a very clear message for us as club leaders, club owners, club managers, club leaders, is that every decision we make relates back to what we're trying to achieve. I've been in the fitness industry for about 20 years now. And I look back when I first started as a club owner and a club manager, and I wish I'd read about John D. Rockefeller then. Because I would have been a far more successful club owner than I am or would ever be. Because not every decision I made related back to my focus. Sometimes I didn't even know what my focus was. I wasn't sure what the product I was delivering was. And I believe that was a weakness in my organisation. So please heed my advice and think about that for you, your mission. Some things that influence that is exactly what I was just talking about, your core purpose, your core values. What is really important to you as a person and as a leader, you then transfer into your business. Yes? Question? I hope Stephen had clean ears. Okay.
Ok. Que si es importante, ¿usted cree que es importante tener una sola meta o trabajar en varias a la vez?
So what she said was, what am I doing for dinner tonight? And I have no plans, so we can go out.
She wants to know if it's okay to have one goal or many goals.
Aha. Is it okay to have one goal or many goals? I go back to my friend, John D Rockefeller. John D Rockefeller would always work towards 5 goals in his business. He was an exceptional man. Would you agree, Stephen? He was an exceptional man. He could do 5 things. I think 3. Now, if you're a man, all the men hands up, only 1. You can only do 1 thing at a time. Women, you could do 3. You have a connective tissue, the back of your head, that links the left and the right hand side of the brain, which allows you to multitask. Men, you can't do that unless you're gay. Okay? If you're gay, you can do it normally. Now, does gay mean like happy? Happy? Okay, just checking. I don't know what they said. So yes, you could have 2 or 3 goals for your business. Oh, okay. Okay. What's really important in order to get your goals, your mission, your vision, your core purpose, relates right back to the core values. Probably the things that your mother and father taught you. What things are important to you, like honesty and integrity. These core values are so critical to your business because it's what you believe in that you transfer to your business that then transfers to the relationship with your staff, the relationships with your members, the relationships with the community, and the relationships with the suppliers, the sponsors of Mikado Fitness. And if the core values in your organisation don't sit well with you, and then you're not transferring them, it's very difficult to run a successful business. If you truly don't believe in exceptional customer service as a core value, Stephen's last session was wasted on you. If you truly believe customer service is a critical aspect of running a fitness centre, then you've got to blueprint that last session for your business. But as leaders, we have to be very clear in our mind exactly what our core value is, which helps get our core purpose, which helps our mission and our vision. Some things to think about as a leader. Our drivers and passengers. These are our relationships. We need to keep the main thing the main thing. Whatever our main goal is, needs to be at the forefront. Needs to be always in front of us. We need to escape from management land, get out from behind the computer and talk to people, talk to our team. We need to do the right thing, walk the talk. Number 5, we need to hire tough, Again, Stephen alluded to this in one of his presentations earlier today. Jim Collins talks about, don't just get the right people working for us, but get the right people on the right seat in the bus working for us. So we have a saying in my organisation, hire tough, manage easy. If we hire easy, we have to manage tough. And that's not pleasant for any leader. I'd like to finally leave you with this quote. Ooh. This quote, which comes from William Pollard, who was the chairman of Service Masters, US organisation in 1997. It's a good definition for leadership. The real leader is not the person with the most distinguished title, the highest pay, or the longest tenure. The real leader is the role model, the risk taker. The real leader is not the person with the largest car or the biggest home, but the servant. Not the person who promotes himself or herself, but the promoter of others. Not the administrator, but the initiator. Not the taker, but the giver. Not the talker, but the listener. Servant leaders believe in the people they lead and are always ready to be surprised by their potential. Servant leaders make themselves available. Servant leaders are committed. They are not simply holders of position. They love and care for the people they lead. Leadership is both an art and a science. Everyone is a leader, and everyone else can also be a servant. I hope today I've touched on some points for you that will help you become a better leader. I hope today you can go back to your clubs, and when you say to your team, your staff, the people that work for you, when you say to them, on my signal, unleash hell, that they will follow you into battle as we strive across the world to defeat the epidemic of obesity and apathy of people exercising. We have a challenge, and I wish you the very best in being leaders in that challenge. Thank you for this afternoon. Thank you for coming. I think we've got one more session to go. One more session. One more session. One more session. One more to go before you can have drinks, because Argentinians like their wine. I've noticed that. Wine and beer. So thank you very much for coming. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon.